Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of Loudly Woman, a show where my girls and I come and sit down and talk about issues that women have been facing in the society for so long, issues we've always kept quiet about, but now it's time to speak up. That's why it's called Loudly Woman, okay? It's time for us to be loud about these issues. We need our voices to be heard. But before we get into this episode, with me today we have the amazing lawyer extraordinaire, Soti Mama.
Hi, my name is Sotoye. I'm a lawyer, mom of two, wife. I'm also a YouTuber and business person.
Oh shit. And over there we have Neze. Okay, Neze, introduce.
Hi guys, my name is Chineze, but known as Neze Peperempe. Happy to be here, guys.
Yeah. And we have Adeze Space over there, the one person that can't do without me in this life, but let's not talk about that. Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Adeze. The name of my channel is Adeze Space. I'm a YouTuber and a mom of three, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and we are all YouTubers, but we also have different things on the side, okay? Now, today's topic, right? This is something that keeps me awake at night. So I just knew that I had to bring it to you ladies today. Let's dissect this thing. Let's talk about it. Let's understand why this is the way it is, right? When it comes to religion and marriage, why are we treated unfairly? By we, you know, women, we're here. Why are we treated unfairly? Why is it that we are expected to drop everything we were taught, everything we knew growing up, everything we've always known, to follow a man blindly, I might add, because sometimes these men are not even that religious or they don't really care so much, but we're still expected to drop all we know to follow them. Is it like, will somebody die if the man says, oh, since my wife is more spiritual, let me go to her church and let's see how it goes? Or will somebody die if a husband and wife actually comes together and decides on what to do? Like, I actually want to know how it was specifically for each and every one of you. Soti, maybe, okay, no, let's start with Mr. Adeze Space over there, Mrs. Adeze Space over there. Like, how was it for you?
Okay, for me, my own was, I was attending a particular church, but me and my husband were attending the same denomination, okay, Pentecostal, yeah. So I was attending a particular church, and we got married in my church, and then after the marriage, he started coming to my church. So he basically converted. Yeah, he basically came to my church, and then. But the funny thing is that somewhere down the line, we're now going to his church. Like
It was voluntary. You were not coerced to.
Yes, he didn't.
That's the question. So it was voluntary for you?
For me it was voluntary. Even him coming to my own church was voluntary for him as well. Yeah, it was just like a no-brainer. Okay, let's just go to her church. Yeah.
That's nice. For me, okay, let me talk about myself before I enter this too. So for me, right, growing up, I've always known that if you're not Catholic, I'm not getting married. Like, if you're not Catholic, I'm not marrying you. Because I can't live all I know. For me, faith is very personal. So that's why I don't get when people try to force people to change their religion. It's not necessarily religion, but church. But it's still religion anyways. So I don't get why people say that, because it's so personal to me. It took me years to build my faith in that church and to build my faith in Christ, actually. So it's not something I feel like I can change overnight. I might not go to church every single Sunday, which I don't, but I trust in my relationship with God, and I trust in the foundation that my church has provided for me, which is Catholic Church, which I love with all my heart. Obviously, all these churches, they have their own disadvantage, but despite that, I love my church. So I already knew growing up that if you're not Catholic, I'm not marrying you. If you're not Catholic, I am not marrying you, because I know that women were expected to switch. So I didn't want the drama. I didn't want to say I will not switch and wahala will come. So I was just like, you know what? If you're not Catholic, I'll not marry you. So for me, my husband is also Catholic. I'm sure we talked about it the very first date we had. And are you Catholic? Yes. Are you AA? Yes. Okay. You know that kind of thing, right? Yeah. Okay. So it's like, because I knew he was coming to marry me. My husband didn't come to me as a boyfriend. He came to me as I want to marry you. I've seen wife kind of vibe. So because exactly. Yes. So that was something I was very conscious of growing up. And I think my parents and family members, they kind of put it in my head as well, like, we are this. It will be better if you marry this. to avoid drama that comes with the whole thing. So that's how it happened for me. So I'm lucky to be married to a Catholic. So it's like I'm a Catholic, he's a Catholic, he's a Catholic. There's no argument there. So I actually consider myself one of the lucky ones. Because at the end of the day, I might have fallen in love with someone that's not Catholic and it wouldn't have worked out.
Or a Muslim, who knows?
Exactly. It kind of happened with someone I know, and the dad was just like, okay, all I want to tell you now is just go and break up. It's not like I have a lot of my friends are Muslims. I went to school in the north, but it's just like you don't want that conflict in your marriage. You don't want that. It's too conflicting. Exactly. So how was it for you, Soti?
Okay, so personally, my family is Anglican, and they call themselves core Anglican. Like, we're born in the church, Anglican church, everybody's Anglican to be born, right?
Okay.
But because I've been independent since I was 16, I had the opportunity to
Make your choices.
and visit different churches. So I did Catholic in secondary school for a few years because the church was short, straight up 1 hour we're out. So I was like, these Catholic people, I like them so much. So you know what to expect. But then when I got to uni and everything, I did Dominion City, Redeemed, and all sorts of all different types of churches. So I was kind of indifferent. And in the beginning,
You were open.
Open, yes, not even open.
But did you believe that all these churches is basically worshiping one God? Did you have that?
Yes, but there are very fundamental differences in like theology and some things. Like speaking in
Right.
tongues, some
Yes.
people don't think speaking in tongues is real.
That's
some
true.
people don't think, some churches, even they speaking in tongues, they think
I'm
that
not going to lie. I am people.
Typical Catholic.
Yeah.
Even speaking in tongues, some people believe you can teach people how to speak in tongues. Why some people believe no, that it's the Holy Spirit that inspires. So there are some things that even in the same Pentecostal, it's so deep. That's why it's like a thing. So me, I was kind of open, like, okay, I don't really mind and all that. So I met my husband and we were talking about marriage and I brought it up that, oh, I'm Anglican. He's like, okay, cool, whatever.
And what was he
grandmother-
saying?
He's Pentecostal.
Okay.
So my grandmother, I spoke to her that this person I was married. She said, "What I did with you?" Like that he has to convert. Like my mom was like, I said, "Okay, what about an outdoor wedding? Like outdoor wedding, you just bring the priest over, and so we are not dragging anything. And then when we marry, we can go to wherever we want to, right?" I didn't mind, and they said, "No, they're not coming. They must be inside the church, go." So my husband had to do confirmation. He had to get baptized.
And he didn't
go
mind.
all the classes, even
How
the
did
marriage
that make
counseling.
you feel, if you don't mind?
I think sometimes I feel that it was very selfish of me,
Okay.
in my own opinion,
Because I feel
he
like it's a way
sacrificed-
to get the perspective of men. If
Yeah.
men are this stuff
In
for anyways,
retrospect.
because we usually change for them. So
Yeah, in retrospect, I think it was very, very selfish because marriage counseling, we did it for 3 months, and every time he was coming to my church, all the things, getting baptized.
follow-up question,
Yeah.
sorry, but do you think, since you think he was very selfish, right? Do you think it would have been better if you had
You had
done
been
it
the
for
one to do
him?
the sacrifice.
It
What
would
I'm
have
saying
still
is
been
very
selfish.
because right now I'm not that attached to the church
No,
anymore.
judge from then.
No, then that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking I'm seeing selfish at this
Now,
point.
okay, you
Yeah.
didn't think it
Then
then.
I was like,
How
this
did
man,
you
I was
feel
not feeling
then?
happy now. Like,
Yes, okay, that's what I wanted to know. How you felt then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This man loved me so much, he's doing anything for me. But as I now I'm being more mature.
Yes.
I was like, come, this thing is not okay because now I'm telling him, I'm like, this church, I don't feel anymore. And he's like, yo, I changed everything.
Because of you.
I was already baptized as a child. I did a whole baptism again because of you, because they said you have to do this and all of that. So I now feel like, will I be able to drag him now to another place again? And all of that. So,
But growth happens though. Like, as much as I was having this conversation with my friend Adeze, like over there. As much as yes, my sister wife, I don't even know what's going on anymore. As much as I love Catholic Church, right? I question a lot now when it comes to religion generally. Both Catholic and every other church, I question a lot. Like, I have a lot of questions, which is why we're having this conversation, because we are always expected to switch. Why don't we ask questions? Like, and these questions, they cause a lot of troubles for me in life. It's like, why are you questioning God? But I'm not questioning God, I'm questioning you. God didn't say this. I don't, well, you people that know, maybe you people know more than me, but I don't feel like,
No, but it's even okay, even if they know more than you, it's okay to still ask.
yes,
And they should be able to explain things with you without feeling offended. Like, it's not your religion, it's God they're trying to lead
it's
someone
very,
to.
yeah, that's part of why we're having this conversation. I feel like we need to ask these questions. But let's get to Neze now, because Neze's story is a whole new it's a different story. I feel like, you know the funny thing, do you know what motivated this episode, right? And why I was like, it has to be the first episode. My sister-in-law got married in this December, and last Christmas, basically. And the Catholic Church almost didn't wed her because she's Anglican, and they were like, you must convert. And she was like, okay, I don't mind converting. She lives in the US with her husband. She was like, I don't mind converting, but when I go back to the US, I want to go talk to this priest. and actually know what I'm converting to and actually like do it gradually. I don't want to be forced to convert when I'm not ready. So like that's what motivated this episode. They almost didn't wed her and she was like, she wanted to take her time to transition. And they were like, no, you have to switch vocal. And she was like, okay, cancel the wedding. I'm not going to do it. And eventually they ended up wedding her because it's not a big deal. I feel like church is becoming political.
We make small things seem like big things.
Yes. Which
Most of the
brings
time
me
they'll go home
to...
and not even go to the church at all.
Thank you.
Marry and it won't
Thank
matter.
you. It's just on paper. You need that person to gradually transition if at all they want to. But let's now head over to Mrs. Neze over there to tell us her story, because I feel like her story was an extreme version of this example I just gave, right? I've not even heard the story before. I'm hearing it for the first time, which is why I really wanted you to be here. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me here. You asked a question when we started. You were like, why is it that women have to be the one to make all the sacrifices when it comes to wedding and church? I think it stems from our background as Africans. Traditionally, yes. I think it stems from our culture and tradition. It's customary that a woman has to leave everything. You leave your name, you bear your husband's name, you leave your place of residence, you leave your father's house, you go to your husband's house. So it's only normal for you to be expected to also leave your church.
But is it fair?
Of course,
And
it's
even
not
the
fair.
Bible says man shall live and cleave to the wife. So is the man supposed to be doing everything?
You know, but
somehow-
that's, I feel like tradition has like
swallowed up.
Yes.
It has,
Yes.
yeah, but
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, go.
So I was born and bred in Lagos, and for as long as I can remember, the Lagosians, the Yorubas, have a culture that the wedding happens in the woman's place,
yes.
right?
Yes.
But the Igbos have a different culture, and I'm Igbo.
Today,
Yes, we do.
I don't know that.
Yes, we
because
do. In Igbo land, there's even there's a cliche. There is a proverb that
think
says
they do.
a woman does not have a church. One year waruka.
No
It's
way.
a known adage.
I've
Yes.
never heard that before.
I heard it when I had this experience.
Oh.
The experience will
heard
reveal
that
you to a lot
before.
of things. Yes.
Right.
Hagagwagi, a woman does not have a church. A woman does not have a name. A woman does not have a home
That's so
until a man
unfair.
comes.
That's so unfair. Like
Yes.
it pains me so much that women are treated like this. in Igbo land.
Actually, it does. So
unfair.
my story, why mine was particularly painful is because I wasn't just born into a staunch Catholic family. Many people become staunch Catholics or become Catholics at all because of their family. I discovered Catholicism by myself.
Wow, how did you
I'm
do
the
that?
most Catholic when I went to boarding house.
Oh, really?
I'm the most Catholic person in my home.
Oh, this story is so interesting.
Yes.
So, but your family, are they Catholic?
Yes, it was. Yes, my family is Catholic, but not
it's not
that.
why-
My mother is not
yes.
a Christian woman.
Yeah,
My father does not
yeah.
even go to church.
Of course. So it's
And
not
my
why
brothers,
you love the Catholic
thank
Church.
you
It's not
very
because
much.
your parents made
It's not
you
because
love
they
it.
made me, they forced me.
personal to
I,
you.
on my own free
So
will
you see
and
that thing we're
volition,
talking about is like
chose and
you
entered the
built
Catholic
your
Church
faith
by
up
myself.
by yourself.
So it was a decision I made for myself. I didn't become a staunch Catholic because of my family forced me to. I went to boarding house and I joined the Catholic Church. As a matter of fact, I'm the only communicant in my home. My brothers do not receive Holy Communion. I'm the only one. So I became a very staunch Catholic by myself. I joined Sacred Heart of Jesus, Legion of Mary. I was sweeping and cleaning the church every
And
weekend.
knowing you, I can picture you doing
Oh my
this
God!
thing.
You know I'm always very passionate about everything.
Yes, she
I'm a
put
very
her heart
passionate
into
person. Yes, I
everything.
put my heart into everything. So when I was a lector, I was reading first reading in the church. So
Why?
I was a
That was
staunch
me
Catholic
in
girl.
secondary school. So nice.
Staunch Catholic girl. So when
Man
my husband
server,
came,
even though we're women, but I was a man
thank you.
server.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah.
So even when my husband came and we had all these preliminary discussions and he told me he was Anglican, I was like, Anglican? There were other suitors that were coming.
Right.
And I had Catholics amongst them.
Hot
But
babe,
we-
now we trust you. We trust you.
You know the peppermint
Yes.
But when I weighed other parameters, I considered my husband to be more suitable and eligible for marriage. So I chose to go with him. But I didn't have any idea that I was going to be the one to go to his church. So I got married traditionally in December, and the white wedding was slated to hold in March. I was already pregnant. Had I not been pregnant,
Catholic, oh my God. I feel
had
like
I not
they
been
put you
pregnant,
through a lot of stress.
oh my God, I think that marriage would have not held.
Oh.
So when the white wedding came and I was like, okay, Catholic, Anglican, it's rose a storm. And when I say a storm, I mean a very big storm. And what even made the storm more complicated was I don't want to call it humiliation. That's a very strong word. my husband, apologies if you're watching this, because I know you always feel bad when I account this story, but it's my story and I have to tell it.
To help other people watching,
yes.
that's the point of this show.
Yes, he actually feels bad because last week I asked him, baby, if it were now that you are this mature, you are a 40-year-old man, would you have allowed me to go through everything? Would it have been different? And he said yes.
Of course.
It would have been different. He wouldn't have
And
allowed that happen.
I feel like, before you continue, I feel like a lot of those things we're doing was for our parents.
Thank you. I will come to that. Because he's not even all that the staunch Anglican. He was going to what's this Pastor Chris church?
Parents.
Yes, that was what he was attending.
You see,
it was the family.
So I know that if now, now we
he's a man of our own.
More,
yes.
we would not fall for that. But please continue.
So when we went to the Anglican church and they discovered that I was pregnant, the whole story changed. They said, one, I had a white wedding dress. They said, one, I can't wear whites, that I'm stained, that I have to wear.
That you're stained?
Yes.
This thing pains
and
me
I told them that
much.
I'm already married traditionally. Yeah. They were like, that's not recognized. I'm like, we're Africans first before Christians. We're black first before Christians. So why would you say I was legally married?
But they will recognize the court marriage.
I was legally married. I had done a court wedding.
They will recognize that, but they won't
they didn't.
It didn't make sense.
Because I had my court wedding. I had my traditional wedding.
I don't know how it is for you, but in my house, in my village, introduction. You see, when they pay your bride price, you're married. You've gone. That church wedding, do you know it's not compulsory?
Exactly.
It's something we do because we're Christians.
Yes.
Do you get tradition and faith? Like I was pregnant for my wedding, but I didn't know I was pregnant anyway. But because I've been married for months before my wedding.
Before your wedding.
So I was pregnant, but it wasn't like, I wore white. It wasn't a big deal. Like I didn't know, Sha.
Okay, so they said I couldn't wear.
Before we got married.
Wow. Are you serious?
Don't you think?
Yes.
Church.
2 days before the wedding.
The wedding.
No way.
Yes.
But don't you think that's invasion of privacy?
That is serious invasion. Yeah. It should be illegal. It is illegal.
Women.
In fact, I wanted to hide my pregnancy, but when they told me that they were going to run a test on me, I was like, oh.
Would have been the husband's urine.
Even in their own hospital, no. It cannot be your own. It's the church hospital.
My own, they were more adamant about genotype.
Okay.
Which makes more sense.
For your own protection.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so they told me, one, my father will not walk me down the aisle.
Jesus.
Yes, because I'm already pregnant and I'm not whole.
Oh, Jesus,
and these are childhood dreams that I have envisioned all my life.
I'm angry.
They said my parents would go on their own and I would come at the back on my own. Yes. Thirdly, they said that there
because
would be no
stained, according to them,
I'm stained and pregnant. They said that I was not going to, there will be no you may kiss the bride, that will be scrapped. Yes, there was no you may kiss the bride. In fact, I cannot describe how I was treated. I told my husband, I'm not going to continue with this marriage.
Oh my God.
But I was already pregnant.
Unfair. And church is becoming so political and it's always unfair towards the women.
It's always
unfair towards the women. You know what they're forgetting? Sorry, before you continue. They're forgetting that, to them, being pregnant before the actual church wedding is a sin, right? But the day before, but the day before they came there, I'm sure they sinned at least 10 times. Even the pastors, even the we are all sinners in the eyes of God. They forget that. So why are you trying to shame me for something that is not even bad because you're already married?
There's no shame on the man. He wasn't told to wear a red suit.
Thank you.
As a second clown, wear a red suit.
This is so unfair. Like I'm getting angry. I don't know how you feel. Like
it was so upsetting. I cried. It was actually one of the saddest days of my life. If you see the video, there were no smiles, especially in the church. There were no smiles.
So your dad didn't walk you down?
No, my dad didn't walk me down the aisle.
So your parents could nobody could fight.
Do you know that during my wedding, right? My dad, the story is long, but my dad was early at first because I told him the wrong time, thinking he'll be late, but he was so early. So he had to leave and then come back later. So he was about 10 minutes late. I did not walk down the aisle. I stood outside, even crying.
That's every lady's dream.
Waiting for my dad.
That's every lady's dream.
To walk me down the aisle.
And I'm an only daughter. I have a very close relationship with my father.
Listen, we're coming for your 10 years anniversary.
I told my husband that you haven't done it.
They are walking you down the aisle. I will be there to be throwing flowers.
You haven't wedded me. On our 10th year anniversary, you wedded me.
Which is
and
soon,
give me a
thank
proper
God,
wedding.
we'll be there.
That humiliation you called the wedding was not the wedding.
It wasn't a wedding.
It wasn't the wedding.
And may God keep us all alive and healthy because we're going to attend that.
I can't wait. Amen. No, it was a very sad experience. It wasn't a good experience. So in essence,
You
My
were very
mother-in-law, my
sad.
family, they were all calling, crying, telling me, just manage. It's okay. Woman does not have a church.
Oh no.
Just
They
do.
were made to believe that, so they genuinely believe it when
Yes,
they tell
yes,
you
because
that.
she
They
didn't
don't
mean any
know
harm.
that faith is a
Yes.
personal journey.
And that incident had a very long-term effect on me because I lost connection with the church. From that very ardent and addicted Christian I was, after marriage for like 3 years, I didn't go to church.
It happens. Like,
And
even
luckily for me-
smaller things make us
Yes.
lose connection
Yes.
with church.
Luckily for me, my husband used to work weekends, so when he goes to work on Sunday, I'll just stay. Even up till now, I've not gotten that connection back. That's the truth.
You
I've
just
never said it
go
in public.
for your it's like you go because you know you're supposed to go. But you know, me, I'm a believer in my personal relationship with God. Because churches fail people.
But
I
God
keep
doesn't.
asking,
They're
like,
human.
yeah, they're human, they're people.
Yeah.
This
Like,
thing that they're doing, I'm sure they think they're right in what they're doing.
Exactly.
That's what they learned and everything.
Yes. Well, we have to unlearn a lot of things.
Yeah.
We have to
And
unlearn a
my
lot
own,
of
we
things.
need to learn to separate tradition and culture from Christianity. We need to learn it because at the end of the day, this is a personal journey.
What advice now would you guys give? Let's start with this. What advice would you give to someone watching this that is going through the same?
I'll say first of all, the couple should sit down and discuss this thing in details. Like, let us understand let's know the Bible for ourselves first of all, because I feel like if you know the Bible for yourself, you won't be swayed by what people are
having your
saying.
wedding inside the church,
It doesn't change
so
anything.
compulsory. You can have
Actually,
an outdoor wedding. God is present everywhere.
people will copy this thing from because it is a borrowed tradition. Yes, it's a borrowed tradition.
They have
This
outdoor
our
weddings.
traditional wedding that we do with our Ankara. This is their white wedding.
Yes,
that
exactly.
is their traditional wedding that we have copied.
Yeah, so the people we are
Actually.
copying this thing from, people we borrow it from, they get married anywhere, at the beach, on the roads,
In their houses,
anywhere.
anywhere.
They get married anywhere. Even in the church, they get married in the church because they like the cathedral, not because God is in the church, So
Because God is everywhere.
yeah, so
really.
you have to sit down with your spouse and discuss this in detail and say, okay, where do we want to get married? Why do we want to get married? Where we want to get married? Like, what is our motivating factor? Not because my mother said, my father said. Because at the end of the day, you're not marrying your mother, you're not marrying.
It's family influence. Not
Yeah, and this family influence is supposed to end when you find a wife. It's not supposed to continue. You're not supposed to carry your family into. Yeah, so I think you should just sit down with your spouse and discuss these things in details and understand each other and know where. Come to a middle ground and choose a church. Okay, so if you are going to his church, let it be your choice. If you are going to her church, let it be your choice. If you can't go to each other's churches, then choose a church that both of you will enjoy and go to.
Because something like what happened to Sotina, her husband did not die. He's still alive. He's
I see my husband has switched. My husband switched for me as
you know,
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't die. Me, I didn't want to go through that stress or trauma because I know myself. I will not marry you.
But you know the funny thing, in
So
my own case,
I was
because
very careful.
I grew up in Lagos as well, So in my own case, it was a no-brainer where I would get married. Like, I didn't even think of, will I get married in his church? Okay, luckily for me though, he was coming from a different city. He was coming to Lagos to get married. So of course it's my church.
And another thing, like what happened to Neze, right? Another thing I know that is very common with Catholics and when a woman from Igbo is marrying outside their culture or church, religion, whatever. I know it that the man will wed in the woman's church, and then after the woman, it's almost like a final goodbye, final sacrifice.
Thank you.
So I feel definitely is the parents, is the older generation, is what they thought was right. I don't like to blame them because it's what they were taught.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we need to learn to unlearn. No, but they were not.
They were not taught to question.
Because we are woke.
Well, this is the woke generation. They were not taught to question anything.
Yeah.
They were taught to go with the flow.
Wow.
Don't dare
It's so
to be
funny
different.
how like everyone here, we actually all have. Okay, both of you have similar stories, but
Similar, but
Similar,
this is not necessarily church, but it's identity. Changing
Yes.
my name. You just it's related.
it's
to
very
this because
personal.
when we're doing marriage counseling in that same church where everything was on me, the woman is supposed to do this. When your husband comes home, you open your neck like this. I did a video that
Yes.
you do like it was always
About what you're supposed to do.
Why do we always
Why are men not
sacrifice
taught on how to also handle their wives?
I
Right.
really didn't want to change my name in the beginning. I wanted to just remove because I feel like that's a part of my identity. And then like, the Bible says this and this and this. And nothing is inside that Bible. They're just quoting.
They're just quoting.
Using to justify a lot of the things and all of that.
It's
ancient.
man-made.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
translate the Bible
You
how they
understand
want.
it,
It's
and
man-made.
ancient. So there are things that we should question.
You guys, I think the point of coming to a conclusion, the point is that we should question more. I'm glad that we know better, so our kids will not have to go through this because they've not born the man that is gonna. And I just tell my daughter, do you understand? Because at the end of the day, we're all human. that man, a woman like me gave birth to that man. You understand? So it's like, you're not God, you're not special. Like, I would teach my kids, I have boys and girls, 2 boys and a girl. So I would teach them, like, it should be a decision between you guys. You know, just for that uniformity, for those is important for in their families, because obviously you don't want to be going to this church just for that uniformity. Just let it be a decision.
And
it shouldn't be compulsory.
something you need to point out too is that even these parents that are insisting on these things, it's not even because of the spiritual angle. It's because my friend, yes, reputation.
Reputational.
So
Exactly, those were the words.
Yeah.
It will look as though this woman has come to take a hair.
Yes.
Is now with Mumu. Has
Yeah.
called my son.
And what my friends say, what
he
my
doesn't have authority again.
yes,
She
thank
has
you.
boxed him.
Yeah,
That's
that's just it.
Not
So,
like
like,
This
spiritual
conversation
angle.
is very long, but let's just leave them to continue it in the comment section down below. It was really nice chatting with you ladies. You guys are all amazing. It was really nice. You guys just continue the conversation down below. How was it for you? How did you feel when you were made to switch, or did you do it, you know, because you wanted to, or will you do it? Will you let your kids do it? Like, it's so broad. And also, if we're taking one thing out of this conversation, is the fact that we should question these things. They're not all religion. They're culture infused with religion, and we should always question these things. Nobody will beat us, okay? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and catch you guys in our next episode. Thank you. Bye.